Welcome back. In a moment, we'll take a look at indoor skydiving. But first, here are some other stories to keep an eye on. Opponents of the Venezuelan government have called for fresh protests after days of violent clashes left at least 3 people dead. Hundreds of thousands of people have joined protest marches in several cities, calling for President Nicolas Maduro's resignation. Maduro's supporters have held counter-rallies in the country's capital. The US Vice President Mike Pence has said America is interested in a win-win trade relationship with Indonesia, following a closed-door meeting with President Joko Widodo. Pence is currently on a 10-day Asia-Pacific tour and will spend his time in the country meeting with government representatives and business leaders. And staying with the region, the US Air Force has conducted joint military drills with South Korea amid mounting tensions on the Korean peninsula. Over 28,000 US troops are stationed in South Korea in joint defence with the South's forces against North Korea. Tension has escalated sharply in recent weeks as there are concerns that North Korea may soon conduct a 6th nuclear test. More than 300 competitors from around 30 countries have descended on England for the world's biggest indoor skydiving competition. The sport has taken off over the last 5 years, with at least 40 new wind tunnels opening globally in last year alone. So we sent Insight's Chloe Culpan to see what it's all about.
Hidden away in the tranquil English countryside, 40 metres up, people are flying. Wind speeds of up to 210 kilometres an hour, a complicated routine to remember, and a world title to battle for. Hayabusa are defending champions. The men's team from Belgium are in the top-tier AAA section. The club has been competing for more than a decade and has won this event 6 times before.
It takes, I'm not gonna say a few years, but it does take for sure a few months to get like all the formations, all the different techniques in your head. And then of course it takes a long time to really fine-tune everything and get them going correct and synchronized with the team. So it's very much a team sport that you need to go together. And that's what makes it so fun.
But they've got fierce competition. Wimby, the French national team, are said to be their main challengers, but they all seem pretty relaxed about their training.
Well, you can eat burgers and fries, that's no problem. No, I think it's like every sport, you know, if you're some athleticism you need to have, for sure. But at this moment, the sport is not at such a high level, like, for example, cycling or swimming, where diet is super important stuff. But, I mean, general fitness, of course, is very important.
Volition, a British team, are also in the top tier, hoping to be crowned the world's best women's indoor skydive team.
We've just finished a training camp. This competition is a good experience for us, but we've got a lot more training to go. So it's more of a training competition for us rather than where we hope to be. You know, we hope to sort of develop a lot more over the year, and then Canada is where we're hoping to peak and do our best in Canada.
64 teams are competing across 4 categories, one of which is for rookies, which sees juniors entering. Some taking to the air, like this team called the Recruits, are as young as 10.
The wind, it goes very fast. It's quite cold, but it feels like you're flying because you are flying. But I think it makes you feel more light, like you could do anything.
Paul Mayer runs the competition.
Well, when we started, it was kind of the first competition of its kind in the world. So to begin with, I think we only had about 12 teams in year 1. So over the years, as the sport's grown and the wind tunnels have become more prevalent, the team numbers have increased, as well as the participation from lots of countries.
Indoor skydiving isn't just for the pros and the competitors. Anyone can give it a go, including children as young as 5, and even me. It's not often I'm lost for words, but that was a truly breathtaking experience and certainly something I'm not going to forget in a hurry. This is what I could have been doing. So while I won't be competing anytime soon, indoor skydiving is certainly a sport to keep an eye on. Chloe Culpen reporting for Insight.
Well, to discuss that further, I'm joined in the studio on planet Earth, you'll notice, by Bryony Doughty, who is the Director of Business Development at the UK's largest indoor skydiving wind tunnel, Twinwoods Adventure, based in Bedfordshire in the UK. Bryony, welcome. We're getting good at this in the UK, aren't we? It's really taken off here in this country.
Yeah, we certainly are. So Twinwoods Adventure opened the UK's first wind tunnel 12 years ago, and it was very quickly followed by more. So another one opened just a few weeks later in Milton Keynes, and there's now 4 wind tunnels in the UK, with more planned as well. But the UK are really a force to be reckoned with within skydiving.
And was it to make us better at skydiving, give more opportunities, or was it actually just the leisure of come and have a go at the sheer spectacle of hovering there in space?
A bit of both is the answer. So it is largely utilised by skydivers and the military as well to train. But then the core market really is the sort of gift experience.
It's the fun days, isn't it?
Yeah.
And all that kind of stuff. And it's extraordinary to see how the skill level can go up and up. I mean, we just got a short clip here of the sort of top of their game competitor playing and performing almost balletically to music. Have a look at this. Now, the movements are so graceful, you would think they're almost on wires. But the adjustments they're making are what? In tiny movements and the attitude of the body to the wind that's coming up?
That's right. So it's all about controlling the surface area of your body, and that's how you manoeuvre around the wind tunnel. But of course, for flyers like that, that's really experience that gives them the skill to do that.
Like any sport taken to a level, it's hours and hours of practice?
Absolutely. To make it look as easy as that, there's a lot of hours of practice there.
What happens if you're in the practicing phase, when you're trying to get used to this? If you make the wrong adjustment, of course, you will presumably fly right to the top of the tunnel.
Yep, you can fly right to the top.
Or crash into a wall or drop to the bottom.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's just one of the hazards, is it?
It's just like anything, ice skating or learning to horse ride. You'll get a few bumps and bruises along the way.
You have tried this?
I have. Yeah, it's great fun. I recommend it.
OK. The competition that you've staged to bring people from around the world, who's emerging as some of the most skillful countries at these various skill sets like the synchronised?
Well, our competition has been dominated for the last 5 years by the Belgian national team, Hayabusa. They've won for the last few years. But
they're the ones to beat.
They absolutely are. And they were given a run for their money by the French team Wimby this year. They actually only outscored them by 1 point this year. But in the lower categories, some other teams are really making strong developments. So the Slovakian team came first in the AA category. The Polish team came first in the single A category. And a team from Bahrain won in the rookie category. So they're the ones to watch.
What are the teams trying to aspire to? I imagine they're trying to stay sort of in synchronicity with one another, in sync. But also they've got to get quite a number of different permutations done in a time limit?
That's right. So with formation skydiving, they get given a set number of formations, which they then have to repeat as many times as they can within 35 seconds. It's all about speed and accuracy. It's kind of like the Formula One of skydiving, formation skydiving.
Yeah, or some of those like the Red Arrows aircraft team you can think from the United Kingdom who do those kind of manoeuvres. So again, that's skill where you're practicing for hours, I suppose, on your personal ability to control your body and everything else in the airflow, but then you've got to control with your team members as well.
That's right. So finding the right people to fly with on your team is obviously very important, because you need to have people that have a similar flying style to yourself, and you've obviously got the team dynamic as well. You spend a lot of time together, training together. You have to be able to get on. And
is there a body shape that works? Because I would imagine this isn't for everyone.
In terms of trying it, everyone can have a go. Big, small, anyone can fly. We fly disabled people quite regularly at Twinwoods Adventure. Just the other day, we had someone fly who was paralysed from the neck down. So anyone really can give it a go. In terms of competing at a professional level, they are professional athletes, so they are very fit, the people that fly.
Of course, you have to train for it just like anything else,
exactly.
I suppose. And some people can do what, tethered flying, can they? So there's an expert instructor or something can aid their experience or control them. So because obviously a novice can't get that level of control that we saw on the screen a moment ago.
No, so for all beginners who would fly, they always have an instructor there looking after them in the flight chamber, and the instructor holds onto them, makes sure they're not going to hurt themselves, and adjusts their flying position until they become stable.
How long does it take to get as good as those people who we saw?
For the people that you saw in there, probably a couple of years of practice, but for generally just learning to fly stably on your belly, just a few minutes for most people.
Really? You can get that good at it that soon? All right. Well, I'm sure there'll be many more wind tunnels to come along, but thank you very much indeed. Bryony Doughty, thank you for being with us today. We end the programme with our Insight Bite. This is a little something that we feel you should know. And today we are heading to the windswept hills of Rizal Province, a small farming town outside Manila in the Philippines. Every year, more than 340,000 tourists are drawn to the spectacular views of this 45 square kilometres wind farm, marvelling over the 125-metre tall white wind turbines. Construction of the farm, which consists of 27 turbines, was finished 2 years ago and opened to the public a year later to raise awareness about cleaner and alternative sources of energy. The turbines produce more than 150 million kilowatts annually. That's enough to power 66,000 households. On top of making the environment more sustainable, the turbines have also provided community with extra revenue and job opportunities. It set up 3 souvenir-making cooperatives, which employs 45 residents. And that's enough wind from me for today. I'm Martin Stanford. That was Insight.